Whilst sitting in my chair this morning, I thought of what the title and thumbnail of this video is. I've never held or seen in real life, and maybe once, in a different state. In Iowa here, they're not legal unless you have only 2 hooks on them. An Alabama rig. So thinking this morning, I decided I'm gonna have 4 off the back of this, 4 baits. 4 very special baits. Stay tuned. 1 head on the front, made out of balsa, a lot of weight in the belly. Get that polarizing balsa buoyancy with lead, keeping the whole thing stable as you reel it in. Put a big, beautiful dead meat custom eye on the front and some 3-inch Epic Prey baits. Brand spanking new out of Epic Bait Molds. 3-inch Epic Prey baits on the back. Sorry, I'm trying to think of the stupidest way to say this. One day. 11:39. I was thinking this morning. Takes me a very long time to think. Wood. I got some balsa right here. I was gonna make this weird looking topwater spit and popper thing. Walking spit and popper. That shape though, it's just, I'm not jiving with it. But okay, let's draw out a body. I'm guessing the kind of heads that most of these have is like just a minnow shape, but I don't want to go with just a minnow shape kind of thing. I want lots of buoyant balsa in the front here. So almost a crankbait shape. That's what we're going with. Wires off the back and baits back here. And I don't want the head of this bait drawing too much attention because it's not going to have a hook on it. So I don't want anything too special up here. Balsa is one of those woods where if you don't work with it for a while, you forget how soft it is and how difficult, not difficult, just, I almost sanded away way too much there, but I caught myself. Whoops, whoopsie doopsie. I'm not hitting record when I should be, whoops. But really I just turned on the sander and went boop, boop. So you didn't miss much. We got a fat little crankbait body right there. That would make a beautiful crankbait. It's always when you're not trying. Like that's a perfect little ultralight. It's not even ultralight. That's like 1.5, which is ultralight pretty much. But what am I saying? We're making an A-rig and this is the head and it's shaped. It's nice and fat. Looks beautiful. Next, I think I'm gonna do this step right now too. I'm gonna drill a hole through the nose and perfectly out the tail. Perfectly centered, just using my eyeballs. We are about to achieve perfection. This balsa wood, it needs a brass insert. It needs to hold all the wires in the center. So when you're catching a fish, one of the wires doesn't pull on the back here and then tear out some wood. No, not good. That'd be bad. There's a brass insert, you can't do that. You cut these with a little pipe cutter thing and it knurls in the edges. I'm just having to open all that up so I can fit 4 wires in there. This is what I was thinking about today while sitting in my chair. How am I gonna get 4 wires coming off the back of one bait and a line tie in the front cleanly? I'll show you. I'm gonna cut 2 nice long ones, bend them over on themselves, just fold the 2 in half. So these 2 wires put together like that, that's gonna be my line tie. I need a bigger brass tube. There is no way I'm fitting this in this tiny brass tube. Let me see if I got bigger. I do. If I can't get this to fit, I have even more options. I got other stuff in mind. I was thinking, yes, that will fit. Beautiful. I'm thinking I want this tube to come out flush with the nose and stick out just a smidget from the tail. Flush and a smidget. Where's my pot cutter? Let's be responsible. Make some marks. Look at it really hard and make some marks. You guys didn't even see that, but I made a mark. I'm hoping how much that this pipe cutter thing crimps it. I'm hoping that the wires still can go through that little crimped section. That would look cool, like it was meant for that. I hope you guys know what I mean. So they go in the open section and are still able to come out. Come on now, get out of there. I can hammer it through. Or actually, no, I can't hammer it through, but I can push it through. I'm gonna have to close them up a smidget more. Oh, it's gonna be tight. Got it. Oh, I got one. No! I'm bending up my wires and it looks awful now. Restart. I gotta restart one of them. Okay, both of those wires are through. It's a miracle. That was not easy. Spiffy though. Cinches in at the top. around them a little bit. Now, put them in your vise, those two that are sticking out. Not the brass tube, just the two that are sticking out. Cinch them very tightly into your vise. No, actually, whoops. Oopsie dipsy. Is that right? Turn them around, make sure you have them all in there. Cinch the 4 wires coming off the back very tightly into your vise. Sorry, I got a little confused there for a sec. And then make sure that these 2 wires off the front are very, very, very even, like lined up perfectly with each other. You might even consider taking a wire and just evening them out perfectly, like such as. Cinch it down, nice and tight. Got all 4 wires cinched. You need a ratcheting chuck, like this, but grab those tightly and start turning. Okay, that got tight. Where's my pokey thing? That got so tight, it closed up my line tie. So I need to open those back up with my pokey thing. Okay, open sesame. Line tie established with some twists in there so that this super glue can grab. That ain't going nowhere now. And we got all of our wires, 4 of them. Now for what I was putting off, we need to drill a perfectly centered hole through this bait. From here to here. Start with a nice small bit. I'm gonna see if I can do it with a 5/64. Seems like when you drill through balsa, through the end grain, you're just displacing wood, you're not really cutting it out, which is fine. Some little fuzzies blew out of there. I think I got it. I think I got it, guys. See the drill bit? That's perfect. Now we can just go up in size to the size that we need. I'm not gonna go straight there. I'm gonna have an intermediate size in between to widen out this hole. What is this hole? Looks like 3/16 is the size we're trying to get to, so 5/32 next. Be careful still. You can still ruin this bait even though you got a hole through it. Pretend like you're having to just do the same thing with a bigger bit. Don't just rely on your hole. I'm gonna go down a size. That seems difficult still. 1/8, then 5/32, and then 3/16. I just about ruined this. Yeah, 1/8 is feeding itself. 5/15, or 5/32, sorry. 3/15. Nice. I can't do a better job than that. That is spiffy, fellas. That's the head of an A-rig. Let's carve this puppy out. I'm thinking again. Am I safe to carve this? Should I glue that in first and then carve it? Nah, let's just carve it out. No, let's glue it in. If I glue it in right now and carve it, I'll carve it perfectly to the brass instead of trying to just guess. That's my thought, so that's what I'm gonna do. And gluing it in is as simple as this. You just pour super glue on it. See the smoke? Super glue's insane, dude. Don't be like me when it comes to breathing too much super glue in a lifetime. I'm just a straight savage. Take more precautions, fellas, than what you see on this channel. I'm a savage, guys. All right, we're going for some chamfers now. It's just time to carve. Nothing special. I do not want to attract too much attention to the body of this bait. Just standard chamfers, standard little crankbait body as a head. I might have gone too far already. This body's beautiful. I'm talking about the bait, not me. That wasn't even funny. I'm sorry. Time for some good old utility knife carving. Hard to beat. Just break out your carpet knife, start working on some wood. It's kind of an awkward thing to carve with those wires. Excuse me, that was my heater, I didn't fart. Those wires sticking off the back. And I revoke that excuse me because I did not fart. No need to be excused. Let's get this right into the vise. Actually, that's not gonna work too well. This has to be done by hand, but that's fine, it's balsa. You could do this with a rock and it would still turn out fine. There's no weight in the belly of this bait. I did not forget it, don't worry. That was what I was contemplating most when I was thinking about if I should put this brass inside of there right now or not. I think it's fine. I think I got enough meat in this belly. If I fill it with lead, it's gonna sink nicely and stay stable at the same time. That went all the way down to the brass tube. Dang it. Am I ever gonna grow up? Okay, we're getting the lead hot. I could have plugged that pot in right when I started this one day, because that's about how long it takes to heat up. Okay, comments and stuff. We do comments now while the lead pot heats up. I thought that would be nice. Interact with my audience and stuff. First comment. Mans be out there with microphobia for real. Thanks, I forgot how to read. It's a real thing, it's called microphobia. I don't have an actual phobia of it. I mean, I think a phobia has to ruin your life for it to be a phobia, but I'm just kind of scared of small things. Lieutenant Schmeeve, I'm supposed to be doing school, but I'd rather watch you make lures. That's my influence on the world right there. You're welcome, everybody. Getting learnt with Marling Baits. It's like a Trailer Park Boys thing. Your largies have the same size mouth as the smallies in my area. I don't know what you're trying to insinuate, Cole Peters, but I'll take it as a compliment. Ian Farquharson. I think that's how you spell your last name. If that's your real last name, that's a last name right there. Farquharson. Farquharson. Please get some flathead screwdrivers with a parallel grind on the blade, not a V grind. It will stop you from slipping out of crappy slotted screws. You're hurting my brain. Parallel, oh, it just comes down flat parallel. Okay, I understand. I suppose that might be a good idea. All you fellas out there with better ideas than me. Alan Clark, it's worth making a one-day checklist. Is it? Then you'll remember your lead pot, LOL. Love your channel, keep up the great work. Like put it on the wall or something. Step number 1, plug in your lead pot. I don't know, I'll just keep forgetting so I can read comments. And lastly, Cameron Glimmer. He timestamps 27 minutes and 20 seconds on my last video and asks, did he just bite his pizza by the crust end? I believe I did that day. I do not like saving the crust for last. I get it out of the way and then I eat my pizza. A lot of the time. Not every time, but a lot of the time. All right, I'll see you when this lead's ready. That hole got bigger. I was looking at it and I want to be careful not to put too little lead in this bait because that would just ruin this bait if I didn't put enough lead. This head needs to sink. It really needs to sink. And then for stability, balsa, which really floats. So we need a lot of lead. And lead's hot. Yeah, that's feeling good. Good and heavy. That was the ticket. Because there's gonna be 4 baits coming off the back of this thing and it needs stability. Super glue and baking soda. Ooh, that lead was hot. I should have waited a bit. Woo, too hot. A lot of fumes, too hot. Make sure you wait a bit, fellas. That's not normal. Didn't even get hard. There's a chemical imbalance between the super glue and the baking soda when the baking soda is too hot. I just made all that up, but it seems right. Okay, I poured some super glue all over that lead, so there's a puddle of it in there. Just dust in that baking soda like it's powdered sugar on this bait. And building it up a bit. Because I took a giant chunk out of this bait with that 1/2 inch hole. So this is the best way to evenly build it up, is to dust it on like that. And as you can see, it works good. Still has the same shape to the belly. I'm hoping to be very surprised by the productivity of an A-rig today. I've never used one. Hopefully I'm making it to everybody's specs right now. Hopefully this is a fish catcher in the first place, you know. But it's a cool concept. A little school of bait fish that a fish just comes up on and wants to demolish. Just opens its mouth and moves as fastly into it as it can and hopefully catches a fish, and then I hook them up. That's a really cool concept. These things probably get hit pretty hard by ambitious fish, you know. I'll have to go for some pike. I'll go to the pond where I got some pike on the muskie swim bait. I'll start there. I post baits on my Instagram first before I post the YouTube video, and I have a feeling I'm gonna get a lot of comments that are like, Alabama rigs are illegal in Iowa, bruh. But they don't know that they're legal if you have just 2 hooks on them. Or maybe they do, I don't know. Maybe all of you know that. Hopefully all of you know that. I'm giving this a super glue bath, by the way, right now. Just a full, sloppy super glue bath. Sloppy super glue bath. Don't you hate it when you get a bottle of accelerator that doesn't spritz nicely? It just spits on it instead of mists it. It's a horrible feeling. All functionality is complete with this lure. I could leave it just like that and it would function. Well, I still need to tie off the ends and put the hooks and stuff on, but oh, I should mention, by the way, I'm using twist lock bait holders on 2 of these and then just normal jig hooks on the other 2. Not weighed, nothing's gonna have lead in it. It's all gonna stay upright because of this, and then the wires come off and it's gonna keep things upright on the wires because they're just oriented correctly. No weight, everything's just gonna follow the head, which I think might be really good. Like that, on other A-rigs, you use jigs on the back, like 1/8 ounce jigs and stuff, and that adds weight to the back. And I don't know, you can't get the flowy, you can't get movement like that out of all the rest of the baits of the, like, this is pure speculation, but I think that you won't get vertical up and down movement like an actual school of bait fish. They do that, so we'll see, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you need jig heads on the back, I don't know. Sanding it smooth, getting it ready to paint. Very simple paint job is gonna go on this. I might just paint it black or like an olive green. Oh, I still need to drill the eye socket. I'm gonna put a big, honkin' dead meat custom eye on this, and that's it. 1 color with a dead meat custom eye. Maybe some netting. I might do 2 colors with a dead meat custom eye, okay? And a stencil and make it look cool, but not too cool. We don't want these fish biting this. It's gonna be kinda cool. Ready for paint. And by ready for paint, I meant ready to drill some eye sockets and select the eyes that we'll be using for this bait. Look at all these. Look at these. Ooh, those are nice. That's like walleye stuff. These are all dead meat custom eyes. He gave me like a little value pack right here. Those are too flashy. These are extremely cool. Huge pupilled, little silver iris on the outside. Or should I just go with something more Merca? Do Merca? I need to save them, the flag eyes for something cooler. Okay, I'm gonna go with these. Not because I like them the most out of all this, but because that's just the most interesting looking one here. I mean, this one's a close competitor, but I'm gonna go with that. That took a while to choose those eyes. Okay. 1/2 inch is a tiny bit bigger, but it'll look good. I gotta tweezer off the fuzzies, get it clean. Since I gave it the super glue bath before I drilled, it's already very clean. Just taking off all sharp edges. That does wonders for an eye socket. More super glue. Get that socket sealed, and that will be perfect. Let's paint. For cosmetic purposes, I taped off the back here. Hopefully some brass will show through after I'm done painting, just so people know that there's brass there. And we're starting with Wicked Jet Black. Starting with black, again. What's happening to this channel? There's a lot you can achieve with starting with black though, instead of white. It's like a whole nother dimension of painting. Like starting with a black canvas versus a white, you know? That's really all I had to say about that. I'm bending over one of these so I can hang this up while it dries. Just a corner. I'm not gonna use that, so. Okay. It's gonna be a 3-color bait. White, black, and what's called tropical green. Let's get the white on here. White on the belly, by the way. It always looks good to put that white on the belly, but bring it up a little bit onto the side too, so it defines the belly. Otherwise, you wouldn't even see that white from this side view. You'd have to tilt it to see it, but I think that always looks better. But we don't want this looking too, okay, I'll shut up. Let's get our special mesh all clipped up. This stuff has no discernible pattern, so it doesn't matter at what angle you clip it up at. Did I say at twice right there? My bad. Let's break out the tropical green. It's a color shift. It goes from, I think, gold to green. And when you look at the eyes, that's what the eyes are too, so this should match. Maybe it's like an orange to green, I don't know. It's gonna look good. Okay. Really? The bug zapper was getting one. Thought it was too cold for bugs already. All right, disregard the chartreuse on the belly that you see. I know, I said it's only gonna be 2 colors, or sorry, 3, but for some reason it ended up being 4. Ooh, wow. Somebody got mad at me in the comments the other day because I don't show you guys first, I look at it first. I'm always gonna look at it first. I enjoy this too much, so. You can definitely see the gold to green though, and then the chartreuse on the belly just brought the whole thing together. That looks phenomenal. And that is all this bait needs. No more. Time for eyeballs. It's a weird thing to say. If it's anything or anybody but a lure maker and you hear time for eyeballs from them, you might want to run. I'm gonna drop some super glue on that. And by drop, I mean accurately place some super glue right where it needs to be. This water thin super glue can be so messy. Okay, the fish might hit this thing. That's beautiful. That might be a little too appetizing. We'll see. That'll be cool anyway if I get giant thuds on this. Is it illegal if I put a treble hook off the belly? I'm gonna stay legal. I won't even make it a question. I'm going to stay legal. Having the YouTube channel and everything, I'd probably get in trouble if I did that. Get the next eye on, clear coat. You know the drill. What was that? You know the drill. Woo! See the color shift? It is like an orangish red to gold to green. It's like triple color shift on that paint. Gorgeous. Clear coat! Oh, I lost my can opener, so use the back of a pair of tweezers. I did not get any clear coat in the tube. Careful, fellas. Keep that clear coat out of the tube. That is gorgeous. Whoops, did I make this pretty when I wasn't supposed to? Whoops. Ultraviolet light engaged. Just clipped it on with a little clip. Fluorescent. We are ready to hardware up this thing. Let me bend the wires real quick the way that they need to go. Like they come out of the tube a certain way. It probably looks bad if they're twisting around and stuff to get in the position that they need to be. So let me figure out which wire goes where. 2 up there, 2 down there. No, I'm gonna make them kind of even like that. And then the 2 outside ones will have the hooks. These will be shorter and those will just have the baits off the back. Is that smart? Or should the 2 inside ones have the hooks? 2 inside ones will have the hook. They'll be separated about that much. And they'll be further back. And these up here will be short. That's what I'm gonna do. I hope you all agree. So I want these to be about that long. And then the 2 back ones about that long. Okay. These are 2-aught Mustad jig hooks. You can probably use other stuff than this, but whatever. I'm using 2-aught Mustad jig hooks because it's what I got. Take this one off, one at a time. Let's not hook myself. Couple wraps. You don't need a lot. Whoa, let's grab onto the bait when you loosen your vise, not your pliers or whatever I grabbed onto there. And then you gotta bend this just like that. Nice and hooked up, nice and secure. 2-aught jig hook off the back. That's how far it is from the head. I mean, that ain't bad. Let's get the rest of these rigged up. An Iowa legal Alabama rig. So I got them all rigged up. I got the twist locks and the 2 jig hooks on the back. But for the 2 jig hooks on the back, I think in order to have them oriented correctly at all times, I'm gonna squeeze the poop out of them so that they're long like that. Now it can't ride up into that loop and not be oriented correctly. There, perfect. The custom balsa wood A-rig is complete. That's the whole thing. See, these are a little bit wider. I don't know, I can adjust all this as I'm fishing too. It's a pretty flexible wire. I didn't use a really heavy gauge wire. This is my first one, so it will be good to make adjustments to figure out what is best, you know? There is only one thing left to do to finish this bait. Let's go get the 3-inch PREYBAITS. You guys have not seen this yet, unless you checked their website, Epic Bait Molds. But we got 3-inch PREYBAITS now. What a weird thing. Okay. I got a bunch of 3-inch PREYBAITS made at my friend's shop. We gotta go there first, get them rigged up. I'll show you what it looks like, and we're gonna get on the water. We got some beautiful dark ones. We got some laminated lighter ones, and we got some pretty translucent bait fish colored. I think I'm gonna put these on the top, and I'm gonna put the dark ones on the bottom. They might go for the dark ones more than the translucent stuff, you know? Who am I kidding? They'll probably go for the head every time because I made it too nice. Let's just do different colors on all of them. Make sure these fish don't know what to think. That's the game plan. All right, the hook point comes right out just before the fin. Woo, that was perfect. Beautiful. I got a nifty little white belly dark top thing going right here. That'll be the last one. I think that turned out beautifully. Let's pull some fish up from the depths and catch some monsters. that are going after schooling fish. It's pretty much a garbage day for everything but fishing. This is great conditions for fishing. Foggy, overcast, light wind, and I got an Alabama rig. Let's get them. Oh boy. Let's see the result of this one day. Oh wow. So stable. That looked beautiful. You guys didn't see, but yeah, it even just corrected itself. And those fish on the back, or the baits on the back, are just rolling and kicking. That is fish catching potential, I tell you. I'm just gonna cruise this thing along everywhere in this pond and hope I feel a big old tug. I thought I had a follower, but it was one of my baits. I'm using a lighter action rod than what this bait weighs, or what this rig weighs. I'm thinking I want all the give I can get. A lot of bend in this rod, so that way when a fish bites it, it gives them a lot of time to get hooked up. I don't know if I should even be setting the hook with this kind of rig. We already got a tangle. I have hooked one of my allies. All right, see you when I get a fish. New spot. This spot's got pike in it. Anyway, let's go. I just had a bump. Whoa. That felt good. Oh, that got my heart going. That could have been anything right there. Way out in the middle. I just got another bump. But no fishy poo. There's just so much you gotta concern yourself with this lure. I'm not saying all A-rigs are like this. I'm just saying that this one's like this. And I made it. I probably would have caught those. Ooh. Ooh. What the heck? I just had another bump. I probably would be catching these fish if I could use 4 hooks on this thing. What the heck? Another bump. Bro. Well, a little dark out. I lose. The A-rig wins. Whatever. See you fellas tomorrow. I made modifications to the A-rig. I know I said I wasn't gonna put jig heads on this thing, but I did, with swivels. Look at that. I was getting pretty frustrated with this thing yesterday. I hope this fixed it. At least it should definitely run correct, even if one of these do get off kilter because of the weight. These are 1/8 ounce jig heads on the bottom, so see how this works. I got all day to fish today. It's heavier. This thing's gonna cast like a truck. Woo! If I got a fish first cast, I'd be satisfied. I could go home after yesterday. Yeah, good enough for me. It runs perfect now. At least that cast is perfect. Get 'em all tangled up. That's a catfish. Did you see that? I only caught a glimpse of it. I thought it was a catfish. Might have been a carp, I don't know.
You're saying it's whopper plopper. That's what you're saying right now.
It's whopper plopper time. I should have just done 3. That's still an A-rig, right? I don't know what the definition is or what's required, but sorry, I had a lot of coffee in the truck on the way here.
Well, earlier you kind of seemed like you either just woke up.
I did.
When I texted you?
I woke up just before you texted me.
Like you walked into the gas station.
Oh, hey Cole. If I just have 2, is that still an A-rig if there's just 2? Because I just want 2. I don't want this one up here even. You know what, it doesn't matter. I can do what I want.
You can do whatever you want.
Exactly. It's off. Okay, this is still an A-rig because it's in the shape of an A. This will probably work a lot better. It might not be from Alabama, but it's in the shape of an A. Still an A-rig. One of those hits was pretty substantial. And that showed up on the lure after that hit. I think a pike came in and tried to T-bone this. I tried everything. I tried dragging this thing on the bottom, low and slow. I tried picking it up a foot off the bottom, low and slow. I was in the middle of the water column at all speeds. I was at the surface, fast, surface, slow. Went to that backwater spot on the river, went to ponds, went to more than I probably showed in this video. I cannot get a fish on this. I think when I was done fishing with it, I had like 5 different hits on it. I was getting frustrated. I clipped off 2 of the wires and just left the 2 that have hooks on them in hopes of hooking up. Had 1 hit after that and it missed. I'm sure if it was a better time of the year, I'd get a fish on this and it wouldn't be an issue. They're biting very soft right now and they're not following up. They're not trying to get better bites after they already bit it. So now that I have all of my excuses out of the way for not catching a fish, even though I did bonus fishing essentially with this lure in this video, video's over. Don't you hate fall? I don't like fall. Everybody rants and raves about the fall bite. I don't like fall. It's cold. You stand out there and get cold, guys. It's brutal. Cold, and I don't think they really bite all that hard. That's just my opinion. Maybe it's my location as well. You may have thought that this video would have been something else. I gave you a sneak peek of what I'm working on in the last video. It's coming. How about a sneakier peek even than that? Oh. You probably already know what it is just from seeing that. It's looking super spiffy. I'm gonna get to work on that. Oh, would you look at that? Teeth marks. We can capture these. They're on the back here. Oh, and a fish actually even crushed it. I have some teeth marks right there. Hopefully you can see it. It's right where the glare is. Can you see it? But look at some little, a little hole. I think a tooth went in there and crushed the back of this too. And then along with that, that's where the super glue and baking soda is, so he couldn't crush that. But I think a pike bit this. That would have been a fantastic catch on an A-rig. Shoot. And with all of that, this video is over. On to the next bait. That shape though, it's just, whoops, a lot of fumes. No, not good, that'd be bad. No! I gotta tweezer off the fuzzies with my pokey thing. I mean, that ain't bad. More super glue. Sorry, I had a lot of coffee in the truck. Marca?